All right, so back to another live. Every Wednesday, I do live American accent coaching for Brazilians who already speak English well, and I invite some people up from the live YouTube audience for some free accent coaching. And so I'll start off showing a bit of what I'm working on, and then as we have people starting to show up, we can invite some people up. So let me switch my screen here to share. So I'm in my software that I've been building. I'm doing kind of a interface a little bit like Audacity. So, hello, test, test. You can kind of learn to read this as you get better with accent stuff and see where vowels and consonants are and stuff like that. Hello, test, hello, hello. So I can see like this is an H because there's kind of static going up and down across a bunch of frequencies. And then here we're going to have some sort of vowel voicing happening somewhere across here. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe the L is here, hello, hello, where it kind of dips down for a second. You can see the frequencies kind of have a little gap in them here. And then here there's another little gap, so maybe that's silence or something. Then you can see the sudden, we go from kind of no sound to a sudden wall of sound. So that's the kind of explosion of the T sound. Test, test, test. Then we see another vowel here with a bunch of the, the strong kind of bright lines and layers. Test, test. And that's the kind of S sound. Then we have some more kind of static looking stuff up and down, and especially at some higher frequencies. That happens to be an S sound. Anyway, so that's kind of the idea for looking at, and this is called a spectrogram view, by the way. You might be more used to a waveform view. But spectrogram view is cool because you can kind of, again, start to almost read the audio and start to see the sounds. So that's some cool stuff. And so anyways, I'm making software so that I can take audio from clients and whoever I want to, do accent analysis with, and kind of label sound by sound what each phoneme is. And then I want to ultimately be able to hear a bunch of different sounds back and forth between different speakers and compare them. So like imagine being able to log in and you could hear all of your T sounds back to back to back in different words, and then compare them to all of my T sounds or another native speaker's T sounds. And you can start to compare them, see what's similar, see what's different. That's kind of the idea. So this is just an example audio. So this is just an example audio. And by the way, here in the chat, let me know if you want to join live for some live accent coaching in the YouTube chat, and I can drop the Zoom link and invite you to join. And you don't have to share your video, but I'll share the audio here on the YouTube live, and then I can give you some free help, and everyone here on the live can learn from how I help you as well. So if you want to participate, let me know in the chat. And even if you don't want to participate live in the, the Zoom type coaching, you can still ask questions in the YouTube chat. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, to explain, to demonstrate when it comes to accent, American accent for Brazilians. So maybe there's certain sounds you're struggling with or words. Maybe you're avoiding saying certain things. Maybe you're curious about how to practice, how to train so that it actually makes a difference in real life, not just in theory or in practice. But yeah, throw your questions in the chat here on YouTube. And if you want to join and get some live free coaching, again, let me know and I'll start inviting people up as we get some interest. So this is just an example audio. So this is kind of almost like what I see when I listen to clients talking. So I kind of start breaking down, and when I'm doing accent analysis, when I'm imitating, when I'm trying to sound Brazilian, whatever it is, I'm trying to break things down into pieces. I'm trying to deconstruct into individual sounds, and then within each sound, I'm not just saying, oh, it's an S sound. I'm getting really curious about like, oh, but what kind of S sound is it? Or what kind of O sound? Is it a O? Is it a O? Is it a something else? And this is kind of where accent hides, is in these details. It's not just doing any type of T sound, it's about which specific type of T sound. We got someone saying they want to join live. We got someone asking about bad versus bed, and bat versus bet, and so on. So I'll try to answer both of those. And I'll drop the link for the Zoom here. And let me know, are you Brazilian? Do you want an American accent? Do you already speak English well? Just to have an idea of kind of what your situation is. Make sure it's a good fit. But yeah, let me know. And I can drop the link here. Let me see. Let me go grab that Zoom link. Brazilian speak English, that's good. Awesome. There's the link. If you want to join, you'll join the waiting room in the Zoom room, and then I can accept you. Let me see here. I think I want to share my screen, share the OBS projector, so that when you join, you can see what's going on. Okay, let me go back to Zoom. Participants. Okay, I see you in the waiting room. Let me try to answer this person's thing about bed versus bad real quick, and then I'll accept you. And we can start the free coaching. So if you go to my website, simpleamericanaccent.com, or you can go to 2saa.com for short, and then you click on this free help button. It'll take you to a free version of my app. So this doesn't have everything that I give to clients. It doesn't give, everything that I'm building, but it gives you some of the stuff that I'm building. And so then you can see some accent exercises. Once the video loads, you can see the chapters as well to kind of jump through it more efficiently, the transcript. But these are some different ways. It's taking surprisingly long to load, but it should load. So different ways to train accent. So that can be helpful. And then if you come over here to the target sounds, you can also see the category you're asking about for bad versus bed is trap versus dress. So just so you're aware, you can come in here, and there's a couple Instagram reels here that try to explain those. So you can click on these and hear me demonstrate and explain the difference. And then you can also take these types of words that it's showing and try to find a minimal pair of some sort. If you want, I already have some pre-made minimal pairs down here, which is just a pair of words where the only difference is this one sound. So bed versus bad, like you asked about, but also said versus sad, meth versus math, etc. And then one of the key accent exercises is side-by-side comparison or contrastive listening, whatever you want to call it. And so you can watch the video for how to do that if you want, but also the quick version, I can kind of demonstrate real fast, is just go to youglish.com, get two windows open, put them side by side. And then you put one minimal pair on the left, click US, and one minimal pair on the right, or one word of the minimal pair. And then you can kind of quiz yourself back and forth.
My perspective. Do I want to see the circumstances good or bad?
Bad.
Belief that in the 21st century, no child should go to bed hungry.
Bed.
Real daily yield curve website today, as I do every day when I get out of bed in the morning.
Bed in the morning. And then you can slow it down. You can pause the video right before they say the vowel you're interested in, and you can compare back and forth. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out as one way you can kind of do that on your own. And hopefully that will be helpful for you. All right, so Ralph/Hafa, if you're ready, I'm gonna admit you here and I can give you some help. All right. Hey, Hafa, can you hear me? Hey, how's it going?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. Hey, let me tell you something. Your channel is amazing.
Thank you. Happy you like it. Happy it's helping.
Yes, sir.
So, man, you want some accent coaching to get a little bit closer to an American accent?
So I guess something that would help everybody here, is throughout my English life, if I can say it like that, if I can put it like that, I had certain words that were very difficult for me. I guess the main one is world. A lot of Brazilians have a lot of trouble saying that.
For sure. Say it again a couple times. We'll kind of check your pronunciation of it.
World.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I can also record some of the things you're saying now, and then we can listen to the recording, and I can point out, oh, like this TH sounded like a D or whatever, if you're open to that. Does that sound okay?
All right.
Sweet. All right. So let's do both those. Because yes, I want to try to be helpful for everyone here, but I also want to help you specifically with whatever's still going on for you. So like world would be one thing. Do you feel like you still struggle with world, or do you feel pretty good about it? Or how do you personally feel about world right now? That word.
You know, when I'm a little rusty, like not speaking English at all, which is the case right now, I guess I messed that up. Maybe not now specifically, but I would say, not world, but world, something like this.
Yep. Yeah, so maybe when you're a little bit rusty, you're distracted, and in the middle of some actual sentences, it might kind of slip. But when you focus on it, you know how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's hear.
A lot of trouble saying that.
For sure. Let's see.
A lot of Brazilians have is world, 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 world.
Yeah, I think
World.
you might have a bit of a O instead of a ol going on there.
World.
Let's hear when you said it again a little bit after that. Pronunciation of it.
World.
My audio. Let me reset my audio. Is my audio okay, or is it kind of like cutting in and out because my recording was imperfect?
For me, it's okay.
Okay, I'm still gonna reset it real quick just to hopefully fix whatever's going on. One sec. Okay, so hopefully it'll be okay. But let's hear.
Now it's better. World, definitely better.
Oh, it's definitely better. Amazing. Okay.
World.
Yeah, sometimes when I load Audacity, when I open it up, it messes up my audio for a minute. I have to restart it. Okay.
Makes sense. World. 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 World.
And what I'm checking is O versus ol. Do you hear a difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you hear in the audio of you saying it, do you hear how you're kind of like what I'm perceiving? You can always disagree if you hear it differently, but what I believe I'm hearing is you're kind of doing a O sound instead of a ol.
World. I guess I'm following what I've been told. I do the sort of a mouth movement with the same sound that I used to make. So instead of saying world, I say world. I just open my mouth a little wilder, and I say the same sound. So it's the same O, but with a different, mouth position.
Ah, so maybe that could work. There's a lot of interesting ways to get results, and if they work, they work. I generally teach it differently than that, so I'll tell you what I typically tell people, and we'll see if that's helpful. But maybe that maybe that approach could be good too. So I usually think of it as pulling my tongue, like the entire tongue, not just the tip of the tongue, but like the whole tongue, kind of back towards my throat. So like almost like I'm going to swallow my tongue or something. And you'll feel kind of this tension in the back of your mouth, back of your tongue. And if you don't know how to do that, you can like stick your tongue out first, and then as you start to bring your tongue back into your mouth, the same muscles that you're using to kind of retract your tongue and pull it back into your mouth, you just keep going, just keep pulling it further and further back. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I place the tip of my tongue on the back of my throat. Is that it?
So not the tip of your tongue. Tip of your tongue can stay kind of relaxed. It may go up a little bit, but the thing that's going towards your throat is not the tip of your tongue. It's like, imagine your entire tongue. So it's not like you're going to curl your tongue backwards. It's like you're sliding your whole tongue like forward or backward in your mouth, like everything together, and you're going to kind of slide it back.
Okay.
Or maybe it's kind of a stretching of the tongue. However you want to imagine it, think of the back of your tongue kind of moving backwards towards your throat.
Like retracting, but
retracting. Yeah, tongue root retraction is, I think, the fancy term for it.
All right, so world. Okay.
So try to do just so don't put it in the word yet, because that'll be too hard. most likely. Just do a dark L by itself. So that would be like this. Maybe start with a relaxed vowel sound, but then try to move into the dark L. So like,
Okay, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Does that feel different from what you normally do?
It definitely feels different. Never thought about it that way. Retracting the tongue, thinking of it in function of the tongue retracted or not retracted.
Yeah, I would
Makes
play with
sense.
that as an important variable to be aware of. And I think that might get you somewhere interesting for sounding kind of more American for that sound.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And maybe I can give you another thing or two. And let me see over on YouTube if we got anyone else wanting to join, because then I can kind of keep things faster today and have a bunch of people up would be the ideal, but we'll see. Kind of up to you, Hafa, too, for like how much help you want. If you just want a quick tip or two and then move on, or if you want to go deeper, kind of up to you as well.
I'll stick
but let me-
around if I can.
Okay, cool. Let me see where. Okay, OBS. Okay, yeah, let me check in the comments here. In the waiting room. Delio Hector asked, beyond individual sounds, what other aspects of the accent do you focus on? The main thing that I focus on is individual sounds as the single most important thing in my perspective, as like the core building blocks. Beyond the individual sounds, then it's as you start to connect the individual sounds together. Now you don't have just a sound in isolation, but you have actual syllables, words, phrases, a whole sequence of sounds. And then you can start thinking about the fancy term being prosody, or kind of like the music of, okay, which syllables get the most emphasis? And that could be emphasis from like the volume, the melody, the pitch, the duration, and also the amount of detail that we give each vowel and consonant. So is it like the full version of the vowel or consonant, or is it a simplified, reduced version? And so we can start to look at how some syllables will be more stressed, some syllables will be less stressed, and then there's this whole interconnected system of how we like shorten some syllables and have longer lengths and other syllables, and change the sounds, delete the sounds. And so we're no longer just saying sounds in isolation or words in isolation, like you'd see the IPA, the symbols for the pronunciation in a dictionary. That's often like the dictionary form, citation form, how you would say the word by itself. But once it's in an actual sentence, usually we're going to change things. We're going to delete some sounds, modify some sounds. And so that's a key thing, is that connected speech, that kind of like actual real life flow when we put the sounds into actual speech, connected speech. And then, well, in a way, that could be everything. Because with just those two things, the individual sounds, so vowels and consonants, plus bringing that into connected speech and looking at stress, rhythm, melody, reduction, linking, that kind of stuff, that covers pretty much most of it as far as the what. And so the next key piece, I would say, is kind of the how, of like how to actually do that, how to train the individual sounds, and how to train phrases, bottom up, top down, imitate, all the exercises, all the like how to, so that you actually make meaningful changes in your accent in real life. So it's kind of the what and the how. And things that I don't worry too much about generally, that I think people probably focus too much on, most likely, is like voice related stuff, so-called placement and posture related stuff. There can be some stuff there, but I'm usually not too worried about it. Hopefully that makes sense. And Haf, I was answering, a question here in the comments, but does that make sense to you, just to kind of check in since you're here?
Makes a lot of sense. And I had a question, kind of similar, because for someone who already speaks English and it is already, on a cultural level of fluency, maybe, I'm wondering how comfortable or discomfortable Americans are hearing me say coffee instead of coffee.
Some Americans say it that way.
All right. Ma instead of mother, stuff like that, Not perfect English, but understandable English to a degree, even in a professional environment.
Yeah, so some of my answer will be achismo and not based like rigorously in, I don't know, research or something. But my main way of answering that question would be it depends. It varies a lot. And so are you talking to someone who has more experience with different accents and is more open-minded and experienced and familiar and has time and is willing to engage with whatever patterns there are in the person who's speaking? And it also depends on the speaker. So it depends on the speaker and the listener, right? So that's the listener side first. It's like if someone's in a hurry, they might be less patient if it's like really hard to understand someone. But if they have a little more time or if they're more caring or whatever, then there's often more flexibility. And their familiarity with different accents, their experience having conversations with people who don't just sound exactly like them would be another factor. Maybe things like, how, like, are they kind of a like racist, closed-minded person? Or are they a more like, kind of normal everyday, or even a very like open-minded, like kind of international minded person? So I think it depends a lot on the listener side, who you're talking to, and then it depends a lot on the speaker side. So compared to who you're talking to, what is your accent, what is your English level, and how close is it to what they expect? How far away is it from what they expect, from what they're used to? Because the further away it is, the more that there's a chance that things will not be understandable, or it will take more effort to understand. Like if instead of
further away from that person's understanding of what is the best type of English.
Kind of, or just like not even like an opinion of the best type of English, but just like even between native speakers. So like if I usually say the number 3 with a TH sound, my version of a TH sound, like 3, and then I hear someone from, I forget if it's like Ireland or Scotland, but there's some accents where native speakers will do a T sound instead of a TH. And instead of 33, you might hear like 33 or something like that. And that could cause like a moment of either misunderstanding, depending on the context, or just like a half-second delay and like, wait, what did they, like interesting accent, or what did they say? And then like a half second later, I'm like, okay, got it. But it's just like a little bit of a, I don't know, a tiny speed bump, if that makes sense. A little bump in the road. Not the end of the world, usually. But it, compared to talking to people that I'm more familiar with, just isn't quite as easy. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. If I can give an example right now of a American that lost his accent totally, in my view, is Donald Trump. President Trump had a thick New Yorker accent, and he lost it. Mainly. I don't see him, saying, I forget about it or anything like that. He used to, 10, 15 years from now, from today, into the past. But nowadays, he's more like, he has more like a universal white American type English.
Maybe, I don't know. He's got a pretty particular way of talking, but some of that may be his voice, and I don't have like a super deep, like well thought out opinion on how he speaks. But I think that's an interesting claim, and probably whether that's true for him specifically or not, or how much, I think what you're saying, yeah, it can definitely happen where someone has kind of a strong regional accent, and then over time it kind of softens or neutralizes, or they're able to do that. Some people intentionally, have like an accent coach or focus on accent, even as native speakers to do that kind of thing. And then there's the case of like what I do, where sometimes it's across, different languages, going from one language to another, trying to sound more like a native or more clear or whatever. Examples that I think are interesting. There are examples of Brazilians and stuff, which I can bring up too, but like Idris Elba, I believe he's British, and he does a really good American accent. What's the Spider-Man actor? Tom Holland? He's done really well. Yeah, there's a bunch of British actors that do a really good American accent where I'll like watch a whole movie
Christian
or whole...
Bale.
Yeah, is he Australian or British? Or I don't remember, but I think, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool examples of where I've watched entire movies or shows, and assumed that the actor was American because their accent didn't cause any, I didn't notice anything like super. They passed. They sounded American to me. I thought they were American for real.
Right.
And then I hear like an interview and they've got this, British accent. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Interesting examples. I want to say, I haven't listened to her a ton, but I want to say Bruno Marquezine does a pretty good American accent. Like maybe convincingly, like not just like, oh, good job, but like maybe actually sounds American. I'll have to listen to her more. I've also met some other people who aren't like as much of public figures, but there's a real estate agent named Renata that I met a couple years ago who is Brazilian, came to the US at 17 years old and with zero English. And then like, I don't know, a decade or a couple decades later, she just actually sounds American, which is crazy. So yeah, I forget how we got on this topic. You asked about variation, like what do Americans think when they hear different types of accents and pronunciations that are kind of different than expected. And yeah, my kind of annoying but very common answer is like, it depends. It varies a lot.
Yeah, because Americans they're one thing still, right? You guys think more like the same despite all the differences and everything. But for us, for a certain level of fluency, it's English. It doesn't matter if you're from New Hampshire or if you're from Texas, we hear English. And I have that with me. I'm more drawn to the option of choosing a particular accent, immigrant-friendly accent, sort of like, New York or something like that, and sticking to that. Despite, the better or the perfect pronunciation of certain words or certain phrases, I think it works from a foreigner perspective, speaking English.
Interesting. Yeah, the concept of picking an immigrant-friendly accent is interesting. I personally think you could pick any accent you want, and if you're dedicated enough, get pretty close to it. So I don't think there's a single right answer. It's, I think, partly a personal preference thing. If that makes sense.
I agree.
Do you want any more feedback on the recording I did of you? A couple more sounds, maybe?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Awesome. All right, let me grab some stuff here.
That were very difficult for.
Actually, let me get a new recording because the quality of the audio is a little off. So maybe just I don't know. Tell me a bit more about yourself if you're open to sharing. Like, are you in Brazil? Are you in the U.S.? You mentioned Texas, but I wasn't sure. Kind of what's your situation?
US.
Okay.
I'm in Brazil. I'm in Brasilia. My name is Rafael, although I've adopted Ralph because it's easier for Americans to pronounce. And I'm 27. I'm single. I'm a lawyer. Also study software engineering and stuff like that. Is that enough?
Yeah. Yeah, let's use that. Okay. Just tell me a bit more about yourself. Like, are you in Brazil? Are you like, yeah, kind of what's your situation? Okay.
I'm in Brazil.
So starting there.
I'm in Brazil. Brazil. I'm in Brasilia. My name is Rafael. My name is.
You kind of did ease instead of is. My name is. I would do my name is more relaxed. Is sound kind of like fechado do português. Is. Do you hear the difference?
My name is. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Me.
Yeah, me versus me, Ms. My name is. Can you do that if you focus on it? My name is.
My name is. Sort
yeah, and now put the M before it with no pause. So say Ms.
My name is.
Just say Ms., not the whole phrase. We're doing kind of a little brain
like
trick
miss?
Here. Yeah, but with a Z instead. Ms.
My name is.
Yeah, perfect. because my goal is to get you to say it connected together. Because a lot of time when people are learning a new language, not just learning, but like even advanced in English or whatever, people will kind of separate words too much, like put extra pauses between words. Whereas I think part of what leads to kind of more natural speech is when you learn to connect all the words together without pauses. And so if you say my name is with a pause versus my name is where it's Ms, no pause between the M and the I think that it's not that one is right and one is wrong. It's just the more you learn to connect things smoothly, I think the more kind of natural you can sound and feel as you speak.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's keep going.
Name is Rafael. Although I've adopted
So yeah, your TH, the voiced TH often becomes a stopped sound, kind of like a D, and that happened here in the word although. So I would do like the though, and you kind of did the though, the like you're kind of putting too much pressure between your tongue and your upper teeth or the roof of your mouth, and it's leading to the sound stopping and then kind of having an explosion of like the though, as opposed to a smooth continuous sound that never stops, like though, though. Do you hear a difference?
Okay. Yes.
Because here's how you said it.
Although yeah, it definitely said though, like pizza dough, something like that. Yes.
Exactly. If you focus on it, can you say it with the continuous, kind of smooth TH sound?
Although.
Yeah. Good job. Amazing.
Right. Yeah, it's
So
just
you got-
just a little rusty, man.
Oh yeah, no worries. And none of this I'm saying, by the way, is from a place of judgment, just trying to help you out. Because yeah, you're doing great.
No, but let me
just
tell you
some
something.
fine-tuning.
This is some new approach. I've never seen that before, and it's very good. You're recognizing the sound just by looking at it, or the software's help.
Mainly listening. The visual is to help me know where sounds stop and start so I can navigate the audio faster. But really I'm listening more than looking when I'm actually deciding if you did the sound like me or not. But I can see here there was kind of a silence between words.
Uh-huh.
And then here I can
But
see...
that software is not intelligent, is it? It just
Not really. It's not like
data back.
AI or automatically analyzing things. Nothing like that. It's just some audio editing software. It's Audacity. It's free. Anyone can use it. I just use it in kind of a special way. But yeah, it's not like some smart AI kind of thing. No.
Potential.
Yep.
Although I've adopted Ralph because it's Ralph.
So Ralph versus Ralph. Ralph. So two main sounds to adjust. But do you hear a difference at least?
The A difference, definitely.
Awesome. So if we drill down to what the differences are, I would say it's the a versus ah sound and the o or the ol versus o sound. So one is the a vowel sound and one is the dark L versus kind of a o vowel sound.
Ralph.
So you kind of did ra and I would do ra, ah. The same sound as in like bad, math, happy, ra. Can you do that if you focus on it?
Ralph.
It's closer. Ra, yeah, Ralph.
Ralph.
Pretty close, yeah. And then the dark L is
Ralph.
instead of a O.
Ralph.
O. Instead I do ol. That sound from earlier with the tongue root retraction.
Back to the tongue retraction. Okay.
Yep.
So
That'll take
Ralph.
practice. Say it again.
Ralph.
Possibly. Sometimes it's hard for me to hear too, like at full speed. Some of these things are kind of tricky.
Ralph. I'm trying to retract my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Ralph.
Do you hear a difference compared to how you were saying it?
100%.
Awesome.
Because it's easier for Americans to pronounce. And I'm 27. I'm single. I'm a lawyer.
Single versus single. Same thing. Goal. Ol. Retraction. Can you say it if you focus on it? Single goal.
Single.
Yeah.
Single.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm a lawyer. Also study software engineering, stuff like that.
Stuff like that versus stuff like that. Like that.
Okay. That. I said more like a D again, right?
Yep.
So the TH and the D are kind of a speech pattern, bad speech pattern, if I can put it like that, for me. Second time already, yes?
Yeah. If we want to be, technical, it's not necessarily a good or bad thing, but within the idea of aiming for an American accent, yeah, you could call it, like, if you're trying to sound like me, you could call it bad as like a shorthand of, yeah, there's a gap compared to how I would usually say it. And it's a really common gap, by the way. I think in my software, I show it, as a contrast. Voiced TH, I write here as a DH because it's kind of related to D in a way. But the issue is DH versus D, just like you said. So like the versus duh, they versus day, there versus dare, and so on. So yeah, you're not alone. It's a really common challenge.
All right.
Is this making sense? Do you have some takeaways from today that you could practice, even if we, ended right now, just to kind of check in if this is valuable?
This is great. This is great stuff.
Awesome. And do you feel like you know how to practice? Like if you went and tried to work on this on your own, do you have an idea of what you could do?
I'm more of a learn by myself, learn alone type guy. So, the classes are a great idea, like even so. Yes, but yes, definitely can learn from that.
Because I guess what I'm asking is, regardless of classes or doing it on your own, just do you understand like a technique or a method, like play by play, like I would do this and then I would do this. Like, do you know? It's okay if you don't, or if you have an idea, it's okay if you want to like offer an idea. But the reason I'm asking is I could offer ideas for like how you could train this stuff if you want. I'm just curious if you already have like an idea, if you practice accent intentionally already. But like for these things, TH versus D, although versus although, if you want to actually change that in your accent, in your speech, do you know how to work on it, or is it kind of unclear? I'm just kind of checking in if you need help in that area.
Once I've identified it, a failure within English learning or whatever, I'll just repeat the right way. I guess the main point is to identify the failures, and that's why this class is very important. And I think that's why your course is very, very good for people who are like me, not beginners, and they need to refine a little bit more. Once they've identified it, they can work on that. And I work on that type of stuff by repeating. So the a gazillion times.
Were you intentionally going back and forth between the TH and the D?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you, it's just rusty.
You did it really fast. That was impressive, actually. Most people don't.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I heard someone alternate like that fast.
Yeah. So the. I think from today we can focus
awesome.
on that. That was my main mistake, if I can put it like that.
So repeating is one key piece of it. The next piece I would offer, and maybe you already know this and you just didn't say it, but the key thing I would say next is don't just say the words by themselves, put them in phrases. Because in real life, you don't just say like the, and that's it. You would say the in the middle of some sentence, and you'd be distracted thinking about what you're going to say next. And then, we'd see what comes out in that moment. Does that make sense?
So context is very important. Yes?
Yeah, make it more like real life. Because if your goal is, like most people, you don't just want to be able to do this when you practice. You want it to actually show up in real life in the conversations that you care about when you're actually talking with real humans and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so the way I would do that is make your practice conditions similar to your target, real life conditions that you care about. So like talk about stuff you're interested in and try to, pay attention to the TH sound or like specific words. So like the word the or they, like just improvise a bunch of sentences and say that like as much as you can. Like they were going to do this, but then they were kind of tired and then they went over there and then day. And if you notice, oh crap, I just said day, you try to catch it and then fix it. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Because that's what I've done like in
identify the
Portuguese too.
mistake.
Go ahead.
All right, and give it a context. I can think of one right now. There's a call of a famous video, of an audio of President Kennedy going at it at his Joint Chief or the Chief of the Air Force or whatever, and it's about a particular situation. But he goes at it and he said, "Is that the way they're throwing money around over there?" In his particular, New Hampshire accent.
There's a chance he does a D too, because again, there's variation in accents. There isn't just one like right version. It depends on your target accent or accents, and like there are plenty of Americans who kind of do a D sound instead of a DH or TH, whatever you want to call it. There are Americans who do, instead of the dark L that I'm teaching you, they do kind of a O or oo. So it depends on what you're aiming for.
New England is more of a D.
I don't know for sure.
More of a D.
It might be.
All right. You're not from New England.
I'm not. I'm from Iowa, from the Midwest.
Okay.
So yeah, some of the accents in the Northeast have some interesting features. There's some cool, just to give you an idea, there's tons of good free resources out there. One interesting video you might enjoy would be, if you just type in accent tour, you'll find there's, I think, 3 videos that Eric Singer, this guy, and some other accent coaches made, where they talk about specific parts of the US and then they demonstrate the accent from each part. So it's like, here's a Boston accent, here's a New York accent, here's this, here's that. And they talk about some of the features of like, oh, they do these vowels different, or they do these consonants different. So you might enjoy that since you're getting into some of these differences.
You can put that link in the comment section, so check it out.
Yeah, sure. Let me copy link. So yeah, it's in the YouTube live comments. I'll say cool accent tour video. Awesome. I guess I'll make another kind of call to action for people here on the YouTube live. If there's anyone else who wants some coaching live or has questions, even if you don't want to pop on the Zoom, let me know, because otherwise I'll keep going here with Hafa as long as he wants. But if anyone else wants help as well, let me know and we can mix it up and bring someone else in as well. So just leave a comment in the chat if you either want to join live or if you have any questions you want me to answer, because I want to try to help everyone here that wants help. All right. What now, Hafa? Do you want to keep going? We can do more if you want.
Or maybe you can give a little insight, because I never saw any video of you doing that in a little more depth in your story with Portuguese,
Oh yeah, sure. Like how I learned.
How did you begin? Yeah.
Yeah. Vou responder em português já, mas só para deixar aqui também. Se você for pro meu perfil aqui no Instagram, tem o terceiro vídeo que tá aqui o pinned video. Eu conto um pouco da minha história em português. E também aqui nos destaques tem esse que chama Me. E tem esse post onde eu conto 10 fatos sobre mim, minha história, por que eu faço o que eu faço. E também minha esposa, que é brasileira, eu jogando um pouco de futebol. Um exemplo no meu português há quase uma década, para ver o quanto que já melhorou. E um pouco mais de futebol. Só para mostrar outra fonte, outro lugar para aprender um pouco mais sobre mim. Mas agora, para contar ao vivo, basicamente foi quando eu tinha, não sei exatamente quantos anos, 10 anos, 14 anos, algo por aí, que eu gostava muito do time da seleção brasileira, antes da Copa do Mundo, que tinha Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, Robinho, todos eles, sabe? Eu tava apaixonado por aquele time.
2002.
Por aí. Não lembro exatamente, mas nesses anos, exato. Aí eu me interessei e comecei a estudar português, sabe, sozinho, do meu jeito, inventando o método ao vivo, tipo, improvisando, com os poucos recursos que eu tinha, em termos de, tipo, a internet esqueci da palavra em português, mas dial-up. Sabe falar isso em português?
Qual a palavra?
Dial-up. Internet
Ela tava
velha.
crescendo.
Não, um tipo com modem que você conecta através da linha do telefone e faz aquele barulho doido. Antiga. Internet discada?
Internet discada.
Isso, então. Obrigado.
Pronto.
Então, ainda tinha internet discada na época. Então, mas eu peguei algum documentário, se não me engano, tinha os anúncios de Joga Bonito. Nem tudo foi em português, mas eu pegava as coisas que eu tinha e eu tava... Foi por causa do futebol, que eu queria entrar mais nesse mundo, entender de onde eram esses jogadores. Eu queria um pouco dessa ginga pra mim, eu gosto de brincar. Eu comecei a estudar, assisti o filme Cidade de Deus várias vezes, muitas vezes, sem legendas, imaginando que eu fosse um bebê brasileiro, imitando pelos sons. Um filme doido pra um bebê, né? Mas... Em tese, essa era a ideia, imitando pelos sons. E também o álbum Carolina do Seu Jorge, eu ficava meio que imitando foneticamente, sem entender essas duas coisas. Aí foquei principalmente no espanhol por alguns anos, mas quando cheguei na universidade, voltei para o português, porque conheci meus primeiros amigos brasileiros, pessoalmente, por conta do programa Ciências Sem Fronteiras. E aí foi que realmente melhorei meu português muito. Eu já tinha essa base de ter me exposto um pouco ao português uns anos atrás, mas quando cheguei na universidade comecei a passar muito tempo com meus amigos brasileiros, jantando, almoçando, bebendo, dançando, o que for. E geralmente eu tava só no meio do bolo, entendendo nada, aí na quina da mesa, sabe, com 8 brasileiros falando um monte de gíria rápido e eu só sorrindo, fingindo entender, tentando entender. Mas quase um bebê, só aí no grupo, sem entender muito. Mas aí voltava pra casa, estudava, treinava meu sotaque, gírias, o que for, pra voltar no próximo dia e tentar impressionar meus amigos. E tudo foi acumulando. Então esse foi o começo. Faz sentido?
Faz sentido. E assim, espelhando pra minha situação e pra situação de... É porque o inglês, ele não é tão... Acho que para um brasileiro aprender inglês, ele não acaba sendo tão divertido, vamos botar assim, quanto para um americano aprender português. Porque normalmente é para um fim profissional. Tipo, eu quero aprender inglês...
Eu não fiz por obrigação. Eu fiz por paixão, interesse, curiosidade. E tem brasileiro que faz assim também, mas eu também acho que, provavelmente para a maioria das pessoas... Por exemplo, aqui nos Estados Unidos também tem isso quando as pessoas daqui tentam aprender espanhol. Geralmente fazem por obrigação na escola e não tem muito sucesso não e acabam achando que são péssimos com espanhol e com línguas e é triste, porque não necessariamente seja a verdade, mas eles acabam tendo uma experiência ruim, limitada. E acho que algo parecido acontece com a maioria dos brasileiros também, que aprendem por obrigação, não necessariamente têm um relacionamento bom com o inglês no processo e acabam não aprendendo muito bem e saindo meio que desmotivado, achando que são péssimos com o inglês. Então, mas tem brasileiros que são exceção, brasileiro que aprenda jogando videogame, falando na Discord com um monte de americano e sai falando muito bem, por exemplo. Então, acho que varia bastante. E às vezes na escola, com o professor, não quero falar mal de tudo isso. Tem exemplos muito bons também, mas tem essa tendência de resultado ruim.
Não, mas o
muitos casos.
seu. É, é. Dá pra ver que você não é um professor assim de inglês comum. Não porque você é americano, mas porque o seu português, como americano, é muito bom, entendeu? Eu acho que isso
Uhum,
causa uma certa estranheza nos brasileiros. Fala,
também
caramba, o
acho.
cara fala português muito bem. Então talvez ele consiga entender melhor do que às vezes um professor americano que não fala português tão bem, entendeu?
Sim. E o que eu ia dizer? Eu tava respondendo o comentário aqui também. Deixa eu só interagir com todo mundo. Desculpa. O que a gente tava dizendo mesmo?
Eu não- A gente tava falando do fato de você, como você começou,
Ah, sim,
e
sim, sim.
aí.
Que não sou professor típico, algo assim. Eu nem me acho professor. Tipo, não me identifico com essa palavra de teacher, professor, essas coisas. Porque eu não sou o produto desse ambiente, necessariamente. Eu me formei em espanhol, sim. Mas, apesar disso, tipo, sei lá, 95% do meu resultado em espanhol e em português é fruto do que eu fiz fora da escola, sabe? Então, é outra perspectiva sobre os idiomas. É algo
Uhum,
de independência, de paixão, de ficar obcecado pelo idioma, pelas pessoas, pela cultura, de viver o idioma, não só ler e estudar por causa de um teste ou qualquer coisa assim.
uhum.
Então eu ensino o que eu vivo, o que eu vivei e o que eu sigo vivendo. Então eu mais me identifico como, não sei se mentor, nem sempre gosto dessa palavra, mas mais do que professor, algo assim, eu tô mostrando o que eu vivi, sabe?
Uhum. Eu achei muito bacana. Não sabia que a sua aula era tão, assim, precisa, entendeu?
Uhum,
Normalmente é uma coisa muito genérica. Ah, vamos aprender tal coisa hoje. Não, você errou. Não. Vamos no teu áudio aqui no software, vamos identificar o TH e o D,
exato.
né? Muito preciso assim, fazendo uma confissão. Nunca vi uma aula de inglês tão, assim, precisa. O cara fala, ó, isso aqui é bom você consertar e o cara já sabe. Pra mim é bom isso, entendeu? Tipo, pra maioria das pessoas, isso aqui você tem que consertar isso, fica esse aprendizado de hoje, pá, treina, pronto, já passou. Na próxima aula tem uma coisa que vai fazer seu inglês melhorar exponencialmente.
Basicamente é isso. É algo bem focado, não é só coisa genérica, não. É tipo, nessa palavra, nesse momento, nessa consoante, nessa parte, no comecinho dessa vogal específica, você errou dessa forma específica. Dá pra ouvir a diferença? Sim, não. Dá pra fazer? Você consegue falar dos dois jeitos? Sim ou não? E vamos treinando, vamos colocando em frases, em situações simuladas, fingindo que é a vida real. Vamos, tipo, construindo, sabe? Cada passo, cada passinho, vamos construindo uma coisa grande, que é o sotaque como um todo, pedacinho por pedacinho. Afinando. Eu ia te mostrar uma coisa aqui também, caso você não tenha visto. Estou fazendo aqui em outra tela para não vazar alguma coisa de cliente que não autorizou. Mas eu tenho um cliente que autorizou mostrar o áudio dele. Aí eu posso mostrar. Esse é o aplicativo que realmente uso. Não é a versão tipo gratuita, é essa versão que eu criei para os clientes. Então, quando eu recebo um cliente novo, eu faço uma análise de sotaque, que é um pouco como eu estava fazendo com você aqui ao vivo, só que eu faço de forma assíncrona. Tipo, eu faço no meu tempo e depois eu mostro pro cliente e a gente analisa, tipo, faz uma triagem, tipo, dá pra ver que essa pessoa errou, entre aspas, o T 16 vezes que eu notei. Aí depois o som do
Uhum.
kit, que é a vogal, que é tipo E, ao invés de I. Muito brasileiro fala tipo, ao invés de my kids are sick, eles falam my kids are sick. Então
Uhum.
esse contraste. Aí dá pra ver as palavras exatas que esse cliente fez esse erro. Então a gente vai fazendo assim e dá para mandar para o chat GPT criar frases para treinar com as palavras exatas que ele errou. Enfim, eu uso isso como base para no comecinho com um cliente novo para ver como tá o sotaque nesse momento da pessoa.
Uhum.
Faz sentido?
Faz, totalmente.
E aí, nas aulas em si, uma coisa que a gente pode até fazer aqui, se quiser, ao vivo, é... Às vezes eu boto na tela algum texto. Pode ser da Wikipédia. Se a pessoa for ator, pode ser o que a pessoa vai falar no filme, na coisa, o que for. Se você vai dar uma palestra, fazer um conteúdo, pode ser, sabe, algo, um texto seu. O que for, mas pode ser um texto aleatório. Aí você tenta ler o texto e eu vou te interrompendo. Tipo, cada meio segundo, cada coisa que eu tô ouvindo, a gente treina e tenta fazer mais americano. Palavra por palavra, som por som.
E um texto aleatório, qualquer texto em inglês.
É, tipo, a gente pode abrir o Wikipédia. Você tem algum assunto, alguma página, algum hobby, um interesse para eu buscar aqui? Tanto faz, na verdade. A gente só precisa de qualquer texto, mas eu posso botar algo interessante para você.
The Man in the Arena,
Como é?
President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, The Man in the Arena.
The Man in the Arena. Like this?
Yeah.
Ver se ele acha algo. Citizenship in a Republic. Ah. Ok. Tipo, esse trecho aqui?
Deixa eu ver,
Será?
deixa eu dar um zoom.
É. Você consegue dar um zoom? Eu também posso.
Exatamente.
Eu vou dar um zoom.
Exatamente.
É uma boa. Se quiser, você pode começar a ler isso. Aí eu vou te interromper muito. E provavelmente a gente nem termine, mas só pra dar um taste test, sabe?
As
Pra
primeiras
você pegar.
duas linhas.
É, pra pegar uma noção de como é. Então, tente começar a ler e eu vou te interromper.
It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out
So
how the
not
strong
the-
man stumbles.
I think your TH came out kind of like a stop sound again. Not the, instead of not the.
Okay. Or where the doer of deeds could have done them better.
Oh, go back. You skipped a little bit. Try to do not the and see if you can do it in the new way. Not the.
Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
the
again, maybe in
positive.
how the.
Yeah. How the, not the. Not
Good,
the
yeah,
man who
how the-
points out how the, it's not much the how the, is how the, and then the next S. You know, that stuff.
Yeah, and also the stress. You might be over stressing the word the right now. How the, as opposed to how the strong.
Alright.
Because then strong's going to be stressed more than the, and how will probably be stressed more than the as well. So how the strong
How
man,
the strong man stumbles. How the
and
strong man
stumbles, that tongue retraction we talked about for the dark L here. So
Stumbles. Alright.
stumbles.
Yes. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles almost.
Yeah, almost versus all.
Almost.
There you go. Go ahead and keep going if you want.
Or where the doer of deeds
Where the
could have
versus where the
Where the-
th.
where the alright. Or where the doer of deeds could have done them better.
Done them versus done them or them. The th is the key thing.
Them.
Yep, done them.
Or the doer of deeds could have done them.
Yeah, zoom in
Or
on just
where
this
you-
part. Try to say done them. Done them.
Done them. Done them.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah,
Done
and if we
them.
focus on the word them, normally we would say them, but in the sentence in connected speech, it might be reduced to be kind of a them instead of a full like them. We might kind of shorten the word and change the to like a I or something like that. Them.
Alright. Them. Okay. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena.
In versus in.
And
Yep, and there might have been more stuff in here, but that was the first thing that I noticed.
okay.
And just to
All
check
you
in, does this make sense? Do you see how the process works? Is this helping?
Dude, this is great.
Awesome. Dis is
This
great
is
versus this. This is great. Dude, this is great.
Yes.
There you
Yes. So, GH. I'm gonna tattoo that on my forehead.
go. Tattoo
Faces.
that on my forehead. So let's see. Tattoo that. I feel like something slipped in there. Maybe it was the word that. I'm not sure. Tattoo that.
That gave me away.
I think so. And maybe the T's in tattoo. Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, tattoo that. Just be careful. Yeah, all the THs tattooed on your forehead, so to speak. That's a big part of accent work, is just, it's almost like a highlighter. Like if you take a text and we like shine a spotlight or a highlight on, we could literally do Control F and search TH and see, like imagine as you're talking, if you had like that for all the words you say live as you speak, it was like an extra like highlight, heat map, spotlight, whatever you want to call it, on all those THs. I feel like part of accent work is you pass through a phase where you shine the spotlight of your attention on something like this for a phase.
Okay.
And because it's this thing that you've been saying on autopilot, and we're now bringing your conscious attention to kind of like recheck it and shine the spotlight on your THs. And now as you speak, if some part of your brain is paying extra attention to your THs as you speak, now you're going to start noticing all the places that you say TH and where it's currently coming out like a D by accident. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. And if all you did was that, if all you did is just for the next week or two, or whatever amount of time you feel like, just pay attention to your THs as you speak and pay attention to other people's THs as they speak and just like listen more closely to all of those, I think that will be valuable and it will make a difference in your accent.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. All right, let me interact here in the comments because I know we got some comments here and want to keep up with that. Let's see. Do I consume Portuguese media daily? I speak with my wife almost entirely in Portuguese, and before I met her, I consumed a ton of Portuguese media daily, Brazilian Portuguese content on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. I don't do it maybe 100% daily now, although I might, and I'm not even conscious of it because it's just kind of on autopilot. But historically, over the last 20 years, I've listened to so many hours of Brazilian Portuguese audio / video / content. So yeah, highly recommend making that a key part of how you get good at a language, is as close to 24/7 as possible. Just have audio from that language entering your ears, whether that's from real people around you or kind of artificially doing it through content and who you follow and subscribe to and all that stuff. It's a very good way to do it. Let's see. Good evening, everyone. In English, CH usually sounds like TCH in Portuguese. Is Chicago an exception? Are there others? Yeah, Chicago's an exception. There's probably others. Let's do, so words containing, there's different ways we could search, but I'll show you one way that I like to. For me as a native, it may be harder for you to do this, but you can still try. Just going to get a word list of a bunch of words that have CH in them, and I'm just going to kind of like manually check some of these. Already I can see some of them are going to be a K sound. I'm going to skip some of the, so like much, such, each, rich, so far, tech. So tech is a K. There's an example of where CH is not necessarily a CH sound. Chat, echo, that's another K in echo. Arch, chin, chef. There's a, like Chicago, chef is another example where it's an SH. Chad, chap, chop, Bach is a K. Chic is a SH, lock is a K, chew is a CH again. So far we have a CH sound, which is like a TCH in Portuguese. We have a SH, which is kind of like a X, X, in Portuguese. And we have a K, all possible sounds when you see the CH letters. And there might be even more, I don't know. But like this is kind of a process you could start to go through. You could also literally Google like, I don't know, CH pronunciation or sounds or spelling or whatever. And you'll find resources that have attempted to explain this stuff in a bunch of different places. So like here, the 3 CH sounds, SH, TCH, K. I would always question things because sometimes you'll see someone give a number and that may not be completely correct or like exhaustive. Maybe there's more sounds beyond these 3. I don't know. But there's probably at least these 3. So hopefully that's at least an interesting entrance point for you. And then let's see, some more comments here from Delio Hector saying, I guess in Brazilian Portuguese it's equivalent to legal, but I guess it depends because like legal is more. Oh, I think he's responding. How do you say cool beans in Portuguese? Which is a very specific phrase. That's kind of funny. Imagine if you could actually measure people's vowel frequencies in something like that vowel synthesizer. You can, and I'm working on that. But that is absolutely a thing you can do. The challenge is comparing vowel frequencies from one person to another in a way that actually makes sense. And that's where you have to do normalization and these fancy things. It's kind of a tricky problem that I'm studying of how to actually compare people's vowel sounds in a meaningful way. So you wouldn't just trust your ear, but you'd actually see if the vowel's value is within the natural frequency range of the target or not. That'd be so cool. Yep, totally working on that, and I'm excited about that stuff too. Right now, I'm mainly trusting my ear, but absolutely, in theory, we could get a normalized vowel range, and so it's like a. Let me do it in. I'll do it in the training. You could have something like this, and then as someone speaks, you could kind of like put a point in this abstract vowel space that maybe isn't exactly matched to real life frequencies, but you could somehow abstract away and normalize it so you could see for a given speaker where their vowel sounds are in this space. And it might have to do some fancy stuff beyond just F1 and F2. And if anyone listening doesn't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. But this is like some of the nerdy stuff of like how you can measure sounds, like frequencies. You can analyze vowel sounds based on these two frequencies, F1 and F2, are really important. But they also don't tell you everything. So that's where you can start looking at the overall spectrum, like stuff beyond just these two frequencies to understand how to identify or differentiate different vowel sounds. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I'm diving into that because I would love this to be more rigorous and not just dependent on my ear. So work in progress. We'll see where it gets. All right, back to you, Hafa. I just wanted to try to catch up on comments there. And if you have any thoughts on anything I said, feel free to go anywhere with that as well, or we can keep going wherever you think is interesting. I will need to wrap up the live pretty soon. But we can still hang out for a little bit more.
No, that's fine, dude. This was nice, I feel like this was, more like a podcast between you and me.
Yeah,
that
works.
Was nice. Wasn't expecting that. That was pretty good. And like, let me say that again. The class, your methods, the H.
Good job.
They're good. You're the
Thanks.
real deal.
Thank you. They're good. You're the real deal. I think you did a good job in those THs and there and the. So just bringing your attention to that again. Good job.
It's just practice. Rustiness, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying that, cover my mistakes or anything, but I tell you, goddamn rustiness. If you don't speak it, you're going to lose it. You're going to sound like a moron. I think that from my perspective, as people make mistakes, that's okay. It's just me. For me, by my experience, that's all.
Yeah, practice is important, and deliberate practice, not just repetitions, because you mentioned repetitions earlier, and that's definitely essential and important, but it's not sufficient. It's not just repetitions. I would add in, and maybe you know this already, but I would say it's repetitions plus paying attention to the quality of your repetitions.
It's fine. Hey, let me tell you something, man. It was nice meeting you. And if I don't know if you have kids or whatever, but if you and your wife
just a dog. Our kid is our 10-month-old golden retriever.
Oh my God, 10. All right, so it's just a golden retriever.
Yeah.
If you guys want to spend if you guys want to have some quality time, just DM me on Instagram. I'm not getting too much detail here. We can talk about that later, but. We have my family has a house in Fernando de Noronha. I don't know if you know
I see
this
where you're
place
going.
already.
Okay, I wasn't sure where you were going. Okay, but I see what you mean now. Nice.
So DM me, whatever you guys want, I got you.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, my wife's got family in Brazil too, and I have actually not been to Brazil yet, so probably going to Brazil for the first time. I think for Christmas, which will be cool.
You have never been to Brazil.
Crazy, right?
Oh my God, that's crazy. I've never been to the US either.
Oh, nice. Well, hopefully we can both fix that error that we've both made pretty soon. But yeah, I appreciate the offer. And it was nice to have you on here today. I'm rooting for you, whether you ever become a client or just kind of do things on your own. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and I'm rooting for you either way. But yeah, if you do want deeper help, feel free to check out the paid offers and stuff. But if you actually do the stuff that we talk about, like, it's definitely stuff you can do on your own too. So I'm rooting for you either way.
Hey man, let me tell you something. It's nice meeting you. All the best to you, to your family, and well, I'll DM you and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't know if I'll actually like, as far as the DM conversation, I don't want to overpromise there of like we can see what you have in mind. But yeah, we'll see. We can. I just fairly. I don't know. I don't know how to say that in a succinct way. We can try it. Just don't have like high expectations of me like actually committing to something.
Yes, sir. That's
okay.
fine.
Sounds good. All right, man. It was great to have you on here.
Hey, it was great. It was great. Thank you.
Yep. Happy to help. I'll see you later.
Take care.
You too. Bye. All right. Anyone else want any help? Well, actually, I'm probably just going to wrap this up. But let me know in the chat what you thought of today. Was it helpful? What was your biggest takeaway? What's something you want to remember from today or do differently based on what you heard us talking about or something you thought about? Let me know kind of some takeaway comments. A maior sacada, porque que hoje valeu a pena. What was something you took away from today? I'd love to see anything that you have in mind. Throw it there in the chat. That way it's not just in one ear and out the other, but you actually kind of document it for yourself and for others. And if there's any other questions or something, feel free to throw that in too. And kind of on my way out here in the next couple of minutes, maybe I can do a quick answer. Ana Carolina said, yes, it was nice to hear about your Portuguese learning process. Awesome. Yeah, if I can do it in Portuguese and get the results I've gotten, it's not perfect. I don't sound exactly like a Brazilian, but I've done pretty well. And if you want to get similar results, maybe following similar processes can get you similar results in English. There's no magic solution. I've been doing, working on Portuguese on and off for like 20 years. So I'm not here to like sell some miracle magic solution, but just to share my actual story and what's been helpful for my clients and non-clients and whoever I've helped and been able to contribute to in some way. And yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. And all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Great to hang out for a bit. You can hear my dog barking, our 10-month-old golden retriever. There's a chance my wife is getting home. That's part of why I'm wrapping up. But yeah, I'll do this live again, I think every Wednesday is what I've been doing. So maybe see you guys next week. And if anyone does want to become a client, link in bio, link in the description. You should be able to find more info on that. And let me know if you have any questions. All right. See you guys.